The State of Crypto is presented by Tron, connecting the world to the power of cryptocurrency.
Embattled crypto firm FTX wants to sell its functioning units, including LedgerX. Joining us now with more is CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's The State of Crypto newsletter. So, Nick, happy Friday. It appears that FTX is on a fire sale. What can you tell us?
Good morning. Yeah. So last night, FTX filed, basically petitioned a judge to allow it to sell off 4 of its units, including LedgerX, FTX Japan, FTX Europe, and Embed. Basically saying, these units are solvent, they're, operating, they're fine, they're independent, there was, no commingling of funds, they were segregated, and saying that, if it's able to do so, it can, generate some revenue by selling these companies, and more importantly, if they can sell them quickly, they can maximize the value. Right now, these companies had some of their operating licenses paused, or, they're basically talking to regulators, and they want to make sure that they can sell them quickly before these license pauses or operating pauses become permanent and, tank the value, basically.
But there are other problems, too. I mean, it's also coming in at a time when you have fewer buyers than you would have, let's say, a few months ago. And you also, it's a fire sale. I mean, there are very few bidders on this stuff institutionally. So this is a fire sale, but they said there are a few bids, correct? I mean, but it's probably not going to be as many as there
over
were.
100 actually, which is a little interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's like the way they're proposing it is they're saying, let's set up an auction. We want to, allow anyone to bid on this. In the filing yesterday, they claimed dozens, and dozens turned out to be about 111. So it's unclear whether or not all of these are serious bids. It's very possible that
I'll pay $1.
It's very possible that someone came up to them and said, "Hey, I'll give you $1 for LedgerX," and they said, "Okay, well, this is one of the many dozens of bids that we got." But it does suggest that there's at least some interest in buying these units. I think possibly because they have regulatory licenses, which is something obviously crypto companies have long wanted, and it's a process to get them. So, for example, LedgerX can offer derivatives, FTX Japan can operate in Japan, so it makes sense that there is going to be some interest in buying these companies. And the timeline that FTX proposed basically ranges from January through March for the overall process of, putting them up for auction, letting companies bid, saying, okay, well, we're going to do some due diligence. We're going to make sure you have the money. There was a clause that was very clear about making sure that they have the ability to buy the, units. You knew that they would want to make sure they have the money that they have or that they claim. So there is a process, and FTX is really, it sounds like they're just hoping to be able to sell these units off, and basically no longer have to worry about having extra units that are still operating, and B, generate some revenue for the bankruptcy estate.
Nick, do you have a sense of what the timeline is for this? What is the process, and how long will it take?
The proposed timeline that they said basically is just a couple of months. If approved, then this whole thing will start next month, and it sounds like it could be completed by the end of March. So it wouldn't take all that long. Of course, there's going to be a lot of complicating factors along the way. They're going to have to, first off, a judge is going to have to sign off on this, and then after bids happen, the auction happens. A judge is going to have to hold a hearing just to make sure that everything is squared away. So there will be, some delays and some effort going into all the due diligence and just the various processes. But it is still a pretty, rapid timeline. I mean, 3 months is nothing. We've had no bankruptcy so far has been resolved in, that much time or that little time.